what it is. Welcome to Planet Tyrus. That's right. Very excited today, although that intro didn't sound like it. But I'm very excited today. One of my longtime friends, football teammates, is going to join us today. And, well, he's more than just a football player. He was a football player. He's old now. But, well, shit, we're all old. But Brett Wetton, who is also a CEO now, big reveal. He's a CEO of a major company. We're going to talk about that. He's also the head of the Nebraska Greats Foundation, which is a amazing charity which helps athletes in Nebraska, collegiate athletes in Nebraska, if they are having some life troubles, if things are not going well for them. And it has some pretty amazing stories. And it's not just the big flashy schools, it's Division II schools and athletes who something happened during their playing time or a medical issue or a health issue, and they provide the necessary, or try to provide the necessary means to help them be as comfortable as they can possibly be, or help them get on the road to recovery. So it's a really cool charity. And of course, we played football together at my college, University of Nebraska at Kearney. So my fellow Loper, and he's a fancy pants guy now, and he's just a biscuit under 6'10". And he's a really good dude, and we're going to talk about how we met. And as two guys who came from very interesting backgrounds, different but similar, and how we've made it, how success has been, what the road of that success has looked like. So he's very cool, very nice man, a lot of fun, and let's bring him in and let's get it on. All right, man. First of all, thanks for coming on, Brett. And people are probably wondering, who is this larger-than-life white man dressed in black like Johnny Cash? They'll automatically assume you played a sport of some kind. So we'll give him that. We played football together. We played football together.
We did.
And very similar, different starts. Oh, by the way, this may seem a little strange to people, but you are actually an African-American.
I am an African-American.
Yes.
Maybe even more than you are.
Possibly, yes. Now listen, the entire audience in there just froze. So, Rhodesia, right?
Rhodesia, Africa, that's right.
All right, your origin story is awesome. So can you take us through that?
Yeah, so my parents were born on the continent of Africa, and yes, white people are born there.
What?
Yes, I know.
Huh.
And so, anyways, the government was in turmoil, and Robert Mugabe came in and just kind of trashed the place. And so we were really fortunate that my grandmother on my dad's side was born in America. And so we were able to be sponsored. So we legally immigrated to the United States of Nebraska. So, Geneva, Nebraska, Tyrus, which is really important.
Yes.
Of all the
Geneva.
places.
Not to be confused with the convention. But Nebraska's a beautiful place. So you move. Was it a huge? Do you remember the not very much? You were very young when this happened.
I was 3 years old, and I have
Okay.
two younger brothers, are 2 and 1, respectively.
Okay,
right?
so you got a small little crew, and then so now you're growing up in America.
Yeah.
Single mom.
Single mom.
Dad just kind of he made the trip, and then he just kind of.
He made the first part of the journey and
Yeah.
didn't make it for the rest of the journey. So,
Okay.
God rest his soul, and I obviously have I have respect for him despite what happened. But yeah, I also had the huge gift of having a wonderful mom that I just hit the lottery with that. So,
Right.
yeah.
Were you always big?
Not until I was about a freshman in high school, and then I was 6'5", 260.
Right.
How about you? When you were a freshman, how big were you in high school?
Freshman in high school? Oh, I wasn't 6'5". I know that. I was probably, because I hit my big growth spurt. I think it was the end of my sophomore year. So I think I was probably like six. I was like 6'2". Still, it's big, but like my son right now at 14, he's 6'5.5".
It's amazing.
So he's running around in your neighborhood.
He's running around my neighborhood now. Were you in the husky category growing up as a kid? Because they categorized me as husky. I don't know.
I wore the husky jeans.
Okay.
I had to wear the husky. Remember, it was the thicker pads on the knee and the thing, and they didn't blend well. So you had these big square patches on your jeans, which were targets for kids at school to make fun of you. I was a big kid, but I wasn't. There was enough fat kids around me to where I was not considered a big kid. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Okay, you blended in a little bit.
Well, because I was long, and I didn't really have a belly, and and all that kind of stuff. I was just thick, really thick, and it just kind of didn't get a lot of. I got more like Andre the Giant jokes made about me because I looked like Lou Ferrigno. It was like they were or not flattering. I mean, not that Lou Ferrigno's a good-looking man and Andre is in his own right, but when you're a new kid in the school, it's being told you look like Andre the Giant is not the.
So I was a little chubbier than you, and I was teased quite a bit growing up in elementary school. Right or wrong, right? I'm not here to judge those kids, but man, it was kind of rough for me that way. I was a little baby fat on me, and then obviously that changed as I got older. And,
right.
Yeah, very different that way. So
when did you realize that you were damn near 7 feet tall? When did you? Because there's a day that you realize that there's puny humans and there's superhumans, and then when I say that, I'm talking about physical prowess, strength, size, and for men, you go from scared of everything to one day realize. I don't know when the voice changes or if it's a girl that an embarrassment. No, it's always something that happens that snaps, and you realize that you're not just a buffalo on the field. You're in fact a tiger. You know what I'm saying? Like
This is my question for you.
I
want to know. Yeah, when it hit for you, you're not supposed to use my questions.
I fought a lot as a kid. I fought all the time because I didn't get teased about being heavy. I was always like the running joke for me was what was black and white and red all over. Tyrus with a nose breathing. They would make jokes like that or say things like that or like you didn't cook long enough in your mother's belly. That's why you're yellow.
Wow.
It was like kids were cruel, but you know what?
They were also kids.
It also helped me fight back, fire back, think quick. So usually
anticipate what they're going to say.
Yeah, because a lot of times I would say it before they could get it out. Oh, so let me guess, you're going to bring it up because my mom's white, my dad's black. Is that what we're going to do? Is that what we're doing today? Let's see if you can tell me one I don't know. And right. I always was kind of, if you're going to call names, I was fine. My biggest, I was more had a hard time with like making actual real like friends. Like that was tough for me because I moved around a lot. I was different. And that made things difficult sometimes. Like I was never in the hierarchy. I was never one of the popular kids, but I was just kind of there.
Identify with that for sure.
Yeah.
And what do you do as a kid too? It's like, hey, I didn't know where to go with that, right? And then when you're teased, but what the funny thing is though, is when nature starts to speak, and you're now 6'5", and you're a freshman, maybe it was my sophomore year, just kind of like you. Then all of a sudden, it all changed. Right. It all changed almost overnight.
And simple things, because like someone bumps you in the line, like, oh God, sorry, and you're like, yeah. Where before you'd be like, oh, here we go.
Here we go, man. What's going to happen, right? Yeah. So yeah, no, for sure. To answer your question though, there were a couple things. It's like when you get in the car, you got to like sit down and slide your legs in.
Yep.
Or you walk through the doorway and you hit your head. Or the one kid comes up to you a little aggressive and he realizes instantly that prehistoric brain's like, I'm going to get hurt here if I continue.
Yeah, but I have to save face, so I'll call names.
Correct.
And I think a lot of times they knew you wouldn't cross the line.
Correct.
You wouldn't hit them. So then they know it. So then they almost have an extra. It's like for me, it's like my younger brother knew that if I hit him, my mother would act a fool. She wouldn't care who caused it. She would just want to know why his face looked like that. So he would tote that line. What are you going to hit me? You going to hit me? You're too big. You can't. Because it was a double standard.
Right.
If the big guy kicked the little guy's ass, the big guy's a jerk.
Always.
Even though the little guy started the shit.
Always. Yeah, that's right.
Because normally, I mean, I'm sure there's some dickhead big guys as kids, but for the most part, we don't really want no trouble because we're still growing in it. We're like Great Danes that are puppies. Like, body's not quite developed yet. Footwork's off. Feet are grown big. Legs ain't caught up yet. Big head, weird body. So we're dealing with all that shit. The last thing we want to do is test it out in the battlefield.
That's right. Or were you ever called the gentle giant? Like, oh, hey, you're a little bit too friendly. I was a kid, like, hey, you're a little too nice.
I was you. I'd be
what do you
killer.
do? Yeah, really?
Yeah, I used to get that all the time. You know what? And then it's funny because we both, when we met, and we'll get into all that in a little bit, but like, life is funny how it works out because I wouldn't say we had a like close friendship in college, but like you were up and coming. You were the next guy.
I was the guy to replace you.
Yeah. And my attitude was very different. I was welcoming.
You were the statesman.
Yeah. So how we actually met, a lot of football teams, they have two-a-days. This is back when you had real two-a-days.
Real two-a-days, thank you.
You got up at 5, you practice for 3 hours, then you lift weights, then you have lunch, and then guess what? You get 2 hours to lay on your bed, and it feels like 17
Do it again,
minutes.
baby.
And then you practice again, and then you come to the mess hall and you eat, and if you have any brains, you go to bed. You just go in your room and lay out. No, don't. Oh, let's go cruise the club. Nah, man, my legs aren't back yet. So that is our life for 4 weeks, getting ready for
4
football.
weeks.
Yeah.
They don't even do it anymore, Tyrus. They don't even do it.
No. There's all kinds of rules. Last time when I came
every other day now.
When we reconnected, when I came back to Nebraska, we met some of the young ball players on the field.
Yep.
And I said, "Hey, what's two-a-days stuff like?" They're like, "What?
What is
like? No, man, we're only allowed to hit twice a week.
That's abusive.
Yeah, and we have to. It's more filmed." And I'm listening to them, and I'm like, "Wow, man, no, I didn't give a shit about it." I said, "What do you guys still drink where they make the holes in the PC pipe?" They're like, no, we have filtered water. I was like, filtered water? Wow.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Really f***ing old.
So true.
But at that point, we both, when we reconnected, because I was doing a show in Nebraska, and you're a part of this great foundation, Nebraska Greats.
Greats Foundation.
I want to talk about that a lot. And you had asked me to come speak at a fundraiser. I was thrilled to do it. And we hadn't talked to each other in years.
It had been a while.
And we went and we did it. And it was one of the very few. It was Larry the Cable Guy was there. Our offensive line coach was there. I think he was part of the biggest star.
Huge shout out. Yeah, Daryl Morris.
Daryl Morris. He was the big star that we were both pining over. And I didn't quite. I knew you guys were doing stuff for athletes, but I didn't know the level of what you were doing for athletes. So tell us just quickly a little bit about Nebraska Greats Foundation, because it's a Nebraska Greats Foundation. I think more states should have it should be a Florida Greats Foundation. There should be these, and it's an amazing thing because what you guys are doing is you are taking care of athletes, regardless of whether it's Division 17 or 1, that have had some kind of life-changing injury as a result of playing sports, and they're not able to pick up their life. And you guys helped them with medical. I think I was there for the young lady. You guys had finally got her a chair. She had
Tesla Davis.
Yes, please, if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Who recently passed, by the way. Rest in peace to her. So Nebraska Greats Foundation was founded by Jerry Murtaugh. Jerry Murtaugh had some teammates and former letter winners that were having issues. And one of them had passed. His name's Andre Franklin. He was a famous Husker, played for the Dolphins. And so he said to himself, I will never, if I ever hear that somebody needs some help again, I'm going to get everybody together. Let's put some money together and help them out, right? And so fast forward 14 years now, we actually have a 501c3 nonprofit. And look, Tyrus, you've been so good to us, so kind with your time. Again, I've known you as a statesman looking out for the rest of us. As you paid the compliment to President Trump that he was somebody different than you had originally thought, I am going to pay the compliment to you that you've been the statesman, you looked out for other people, and you've helped us raise quite a bit of money for the Nebraska Greats Foundation. And what we simply do is that if you're a current or former letter winner from any of the colleges or universities in Nebraska, so that's D2, D3,
and there's a lot of D2 and D3 schools in Nebraska, a large amount.
Correct. And so if you, let's say you have a gap in your insurance. Let's say you don't have insurance. Maybe you lost your job and you have a pending deal. So Tesla Davis, for example. And I'll tell you what, it's very hard for me to recount this story because I just joined the board, and she came to us and wanted a bed, a double-wide hospital bed that kind of moves up and down, right?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, why do you need a bed? She has ALS. And what I didn't realize about ALS is that your body just stops moving, which means you stop breathing and then you die. Well, she has 2 kids, and she wanted this extra wide bed so the kids could rehab with her. And it absolutely crushed me because at that moment I was like, she's going to die in the next couple of years. She was married at the time. I believe she got divorced. This is all public, by the way, but divorced. She has 2 kids. She's by herself. Who is going to pick up the bill for her?
Right.
24-hour care. And so all the great people, including yourself, that have helped us build Nebraska Greats Foundation, we were able to take care of everything for her. 24-hour care. Of course, we vet all of our applicants. We make sure they have a need. We make sure there's no other insurance out there. We do all the stuff we're supposed to do. And she recently passed, and it just absolutely crushed me. But I will say, I'm just so glad we were there to help her. You helped with that. And we extended her life with her kids.
That was not to be braggadocious, but that for me was when I was on that stage. I'm on that stage with Larry the Cable Guy, and who I think is brilliant comedian.
Brilliant.
And my laughs were just as good. And so I felt really confident. And then
I thought it was slightly better, but
yeah,
I'm biased.
but no, I'm just saying, like, it was crazy. And then when the bidding came, so they were like, "Hey, we want to." Originally, I think it was some books I brought. I think I brought a couple books to sign.
A couple books, yeah.
Maybe they'll raise, $100, sell
yeah.
6 of them or whatever. And then I think it was you that came up with the idea, like, "Hey," because we didn't have anything.
Well, I didn't want to impose on you.
Yeah, but we
right?
didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Well, what if we did something to where they could bid to come to see you on the Gutfeld show, and we'll
have dinner, yeah.
and then they'll have dinner. They have dinner with Tyrus, and then they get tickets to come see him at Gutfeld." And I'm like, "Who in the blue hell is going to pay for that shit?" So, and I think we started the bidding off. I think I want to say it was like $1,000 or something.
$1,000 and just ratchet it up.
And it just kept going and going and going. And I think I don't want to. I think I'm right. I think we ended up where we had 3 groups deadlocked in a battle. $75,000 we raised. And then I sat down, and Larry the Cable Guy was like, "Oh, shit, I got to think of something.
That's
Hey,
right.
you guys want to come to my jet?" No, you can't
You
come
want
to
to
my
meet
jet.
President Trump?
Yeah. You want to come to my house for a weekend? No, my wife ain't having that. Like, he was just going on. Anybody want to go to a Journey concert with me? But he ended up raising, I want to say he was like 50. But the two of us together, we raised over $100,000. But that for me is when I realized, I think that, like, because everyone's on TV now. And I'm never, and you will attest to this, I never think of myself as, "Oh, I'm a superstar." I'm a normal guy. Like, you.
And I know that to be the truth.
Yeah. I've never been talking about myself is annoying unless I'm making fun of myself. But in seeing, and there was a lot of people there, and seeing those stories and seeing the stuff. And I remember I got seeing her video was emotionally tough for me. And some people would say, detractors would be like, "Well, it's a choice to play sports." Well, it's not a choice to have a life. And of course, in her situation, it was a Mother Nature thing. But still, you guys found a way to help. And athletes need help.
They do need help, but they're kind of prideful.
And that's the thing. That's our biggest problem.
Kind of prideful.
We play hurt.
Yep.
Doesn't matter, mental, physical. We never, because we don't want to lose our spot. And that brings me back to when I first met you. Now, I was, I'm 6'7.5". And I was considered, and Big Sean, who I played with, he was
Big Sean.
Big Sean, I think was 6. I think he was 6'9", maybe. You made Sean look small.
Yeah.
Except his face isn't this weathered, rugged one that it is now. He had a baby face. I mean, you had a baby face.
No, for sure.
You were just standing there,
young blood,
young and quiet. Eyes didn't blink. You were just standing there. And it was 2 days, and we're coming in the first team. We're walking up, and we see the red shirt freshman guys, and I'm seeing a couple of the veteran guys with clippers
and cut our hair, man,
and watermelon hats they were making for you or whatever the hell it was. And now, just a spoiler: when I came before, they had some similar haze thing, and it was real simple. There was a guy named Gary Estes and a guy named Fox came up to me and said, "Here's what we're gonna do: we're gonna shave your head, and you're gonna put this watermelon helmet on, and you got to do all this stuff." And I looked and I said, "I'm not doing any of that."
That's right.
So who's gonna make me? And I just remember them going, "No, man, it's what we do here." I said, "Well, I'm not from here, so y'all have a good day." And I walked off, and I remember I was walking off, and I think it might have been Coach Hoffman. Coach Hoffman was like, "I don't think they like that at all." But there's
Coach
not
Hoffman.
a damn thing they could do about it. Good for you. And here I am walking. I see you, and I don't think we've said too much to each other.
No, we haven't.
No,
That's right.
And it's not even. It's just because the way they had the freshman team.
It's the structure of it.
It's just structured to where you were very rarely, and we would
got to
work
prove your way. You got to earn your
you guys
stripes.
were supposed to be the beat up dummies for the
That's
first
right.
team defense, and then the freshman guys were the beat up team for the first team offense. But I see you standing there, and I remember, I'll never forget it. It was that little river is running there, and there's a bridge, and I'm walking.
Canal, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm hot and I'm tired, and normally I give zero fucks. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
And I see you standing there, and I see those little bastards with the clippers and stuff.
What are they doing?
And I just said, I looked at you, and I was like, Leave him alone. I didn't put you on the box. I didn't say, hey, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
I knew by your body language.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we
you
doing?
wanted no parts of this. Like, leave me alone. And you were being polite because you were. I had to look up a little bit, and I was like, I wasn't used to that, but I was like, here is this great. Physically, looks like he can go.
Yeah.
The last thing we should be doing is f***ing with him.
Yeah.
Like, and so I just said, hey, he ain't doing it. Have a good day. And they was just like.
And we instantly looked at you like the elder statesman has spoken, so we're all going to move on. And
We're
we're
gonna
like,
go. Yeah.
we're out of here.
And you left.
And we
You
left. We
off.
departed.
Didn't think that would be something that you would remember
Always.
or even think about. But
Always.
it was, and we run across each other again. It's been, 20 years maybe? Maybe
Yeah,
longer?
probably. It had been quite a while.
It's been a while.
Frankly speaking.
Time
yeah.
flies when you're working and trying to build something. Which, by the way, I almost am embarrassed because I didn't even give you the proper title when I brought you in. Like, you're a CEO, sir,
Oh my goodness, Tyrus.
and you're the head of the board. You're the chairman, correct?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say yes or no to this. Yeah, for the Nebraska Greats
Yeah,
Foundation.
you are the chairman. You're
And do some advising to other
You're the
groups.
big
and
guy.
Docology and then Horsepower Ventures
Yeah,
is something
number
I've
one,
been
and
appointed
also
to.
you
Yeah.
besides the fact that you're CEO, congratulations. We had lunch and we talked about this because I yelled at you
You did yell at me.
because you don't take time to ever smell the flowers. You never take time.
Yeah, but that's our problem.
Yeah, but I understand it because and we talk about this a lot as men, the pressure to provide, and at the same time dealing with your upbringing kind of go hand in hand. When you go without and you see your mother go without, it does something to you.
It does something to you deep down.
It changes you. It's not,
Yeah.
everyone makes the joke about, I want to go to the NFL, so I'm going to buy my mom a house and a car. That is a deep, deep rooted
Yes.
pain. You want to take the burden away from your mother.
It's a
And
pain.
and that to me was my fuel. And then it morphs once you have your own family.
Correct.
And then every time you reach a cornerstone as a man, especially as a man who wants to provide and take care of his family, more importantly, we want our family to be proud of us. You're just thinking of what's next. I'm CEO. Yay. Okay. How do I
Now you got to produce.
Now I got to
right?
produce. Now I got to do
produce,
this.
yeah.
Now I got to build my team. Now I got to blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Without ever just taking a moment to say, hey, man, I need to remember this. And I'm not talking like throw a party. Even if it's just sitting outside in your yard and a little sun on your face going, good morning, I'm a CEO. Like, I'm just going to take a moment. I went from being
very hard.
a kid from Rhodesia, trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out. But but hold on, Tyrus. When you're in that situation when you're poor and you don't have anything, it's like I just remember feeling myself, man, I never ever want to go back to this ever again because I had no control over it.
Right.
And I'm not blaming my mom, my parents. I'm not here to blame it on other people.
No,
I'm not a
you
victim.
can't blame because life.
Because life is this.
Yes.
But I couldn't control it. But now as you get older, for you and myself and for others, we now can control our condition of which we live in.
Because here's the thing: we are
success.
one step on a different path from being very different people.
That's right.
We could be having this conversation in a prison yard somewhere.
We could.
Or not be here.
Correct.
And then there's I think a lot of times people get stuck in life, not just because they're afraid or lazy, is that life is hard. And there's certain things that you get hit with and it's not always, I think when you see someone with a black eye, you go, oh man,
You can see
somebody hit me, like and then it's going to get better.
Right.
A few weeks go by, the color's gone, it's healed back, your eye looks good again. No one asked you, but
Right.
those deep ones, are they change the way you look at life, and I think a lot of mothers, they got it the worst because they have, without a father present or husband present, they have to not just provide, they also have to raise you.
They have to raise you.
And they're working, my mom worked on average 90 hours a week.
Right there with you.
Nights and a nurse. And at the same time, had to cook dinner, had to do laundry.
I had to do laundry.
Because she had lazy ass sons because we were spoiled rotten. Now, when I look at other kids, I was like, I wasn't lazy at all. But when I look at growing up with my mom, I was like always saying I could have done more. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do, Mom? I'm going to buy you a car and a house when you grow up. I'm going to, because I see how hard you work.
That's right.
I also see you crying on the couch at night because you're alone. I see you at counting coupons. Like
feet are sore. You gotta I rub my mom's feet.
Yeah.
My brothers, I would rub her feet, right?
Yeah.
Because she's so sore from working all the time, right? And then you're also forced to just be independent. Like you learn to be independent. Remember you talking about the screen door?
Yeah, I struggle with it. I did not ever want to be alone. I don't think that changed for me until I was in my 40s.
Okay.
To where I felt like and some of it plays into being an entertainer because you're not alone when you're on stage. But when you go back to the dressing room, it's quiet. So you go through that thing where you need an audience. You need someone to see what you're doing because you don't necessarily support yourself because you didn't grow up in that system.
That's right.
Your mom wasn't always at every game. She didn't cheer the loudest. Not because she didn't want to, because she was fucking exhausted.
She's working. Yep. That's right.
And as your athletic career took off, because you were a little different than all. Like I had Division I offers all over the place, but once I signed and went to UNK, other than some shady guys, the college recruitment stopped as it should.
Right.
You still had the Big Red going, hey, what's this? You guys, how bad you want this guy? Is there any chance? Because they called Morris over me, like, where the you find them? But he didn't let me call him back. He was like, oh, we got him. We're good. Yeah.
No number left behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't call.
But you went through, and it's funny because I look a lot of stuff like you couldn't really get comfortable anymore. I think when you first were at UNK, I think it was fair to say that you were looking at it as a failure. And I don't mean that
I'm with
now.
Well, I transferred after my first year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I tried to transfer too.
If I'm going to do all this work, man, I'm going to go to Nebraska because at that time they won another national championship.
Yeah.
They're all my friends today. I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Nothing against UNK, but if I'm going to do all this, let's go there.
Right.
And of course, it didn't work out. And then guess who's on the phone?
Yes.
This is Coach Morris.
Yeah.
If you come back and I cut you, and what he's saying is I'm going to cut you over and over again in a good way, right?
Yeah.
You better bleed blue and gold.
Yep.
And that would, and if he wouldn't have called me, I wouldn't have went back to play football. And we all know the story.
Yep.
I would be digging ditches in Geneva, Nebraska. Dr. Heber Crockett's another guy that I met when I didn't make it in the NFL, and I came back, and his wife Carrie.
Hold on, I think I have to stop saying, guys, you didn't not make it in the NFL. You got the call.
I got the call. I just didn't stay, and you know why?
Because it's less than 1%. Just getting a sniff, you're a special athlete.
I can't add to that.
12th guy on the NBA bench could embarrass anybody on the basketball court, WNBA, college, or whatever. We have allowed ourselves to minimize coming from a Division II school,
dude, it's
just to get in the middle of nowhere, to get a nod, to get a letter.
You remember this?
Yeah, I was there. I get it. That's why I'm saying.
But you went through it.
Yeah, so you ain't gonna demean it for me because it's a point of pride.
Oh, dude, but I'm at the Seattle Seahawks in Holmgren's first year. I put my hand down. It was actually field turf, believe it or not. The NFL was ahead, right? And I remember things like, how did I go from Geneva, Nebraska? We don't have two pennies to scratch together. And here I am getting ready to perform in front of an NFL team. It blew my mind. I'm sure you felt the same way.
It's funny. I had a workout in Dallas, and it was like my third workout.
That's right.
And we were in the stadium that day for the workout. Oh. And I remember walking over in the end zone. It's all blue, and it's got the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that's big time, man.
And I did the same thing where I got in a 2-point stance, like I was getting ready to pass protect, and I'm guarding the star. And I put my hand down on the blue turf, and I could smell it, and I could feel it. And I looked up, and I was like, I'm in Dallas Stadium.
It's a big moment, man.
Man, Larry Allen.
One of the greatest ever. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Too tall. This is this is America's team, and I'm standing here. And I'll never forget, like, hey, we just painted that. Get the off the end zone. And I was like, oh, shit, my bad. And cheerleaders, all the people were working out, like, turned around. And I was just like,
back to reality.
Nice to meet you. And then, you go get in line and go do your one-on-one drills and all that kind of stuff. But I'll never forget that. Like, but I did have a good 30 seconds just, holy shit.
Where are we right now?
And it was a couple moments in my life like that where I was just like, yeah. And then injuries happen, stuff happen, whatever happens.
Well, and it's hard. Like you said, it's actually less than 0.5% of college football players that actually make it in the NFL.
They even get a fucking phone call. So I
Okay.
always,
All right, I'll take some credit. All right.
and then I did the arena ball thing, trying to get back in it, coming back from injury
Same
and
here.
stuff. And
Yep.
then I was just like, you got to figure something out.
And that was a little bit easier to play because it was just a small area.
Yeah.
I felt like it was easier to
Yeah,
play.
NIA was
football.
easy because and the guys were smaller.
And that's right.
And
The ball's being thrown very quickly.
2 seconds tops.
It's just out. So I didn't mind playing. That was actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
Stay in shape.
And then you come to that point where you're like, this isn't going to pay the bills. I think I was on the higher end. I think I was like $1,300 a week or some shit like that. There was guys who were playing for $200. There was, so, and there's also this other thing, and you made it such a great point when we were talking about when the football's over, or if you didn't go crawling back, because I had to go crawling back to my junior college. I left to go to another fancy one that was going to pay players to play ball.
Right.
And then, of course, the checks didn't clear. And then
You can only eat so many times at Burger King with little coupons they give you for Burger King or whatever
and,
it was.
There was all
replayed.
these promises and all these
Yep.
things, and then I realized that I fucked up.
Yeah.
I gotta make that call. I called Coach Martinez, same thing, and then the head coach was like, "We're not going to start first game. You got to earn it." And I was I was a blue chip All-American.
Yeah.
Going in and an all-conference ball player my freshman year. So I'm like, I'm not starting. He's like, no, I only want loyal guys who start for my team.
Yeah.
You
That's a
walk
shot.
The grass is greener on the other side. You think you're just going to walk back in here and pick up where you left off?
Well, yeah, I actually
Everything
did think it
you've
was gonna
done to
happen.
this point, I've forgotten. I don't know who the you are anymore.
Oh my goodness.
And I was just like, huh? And I was like, okay, bet. But I took it I took it to okay, who's starting over me? And that was my pigeon all of 2 days. I was lighting him up like a Christmas tree. That guy, I wouldn't let him beat me one time on when we were running or drills or anything.
All on tape, baby.
Yeah, all on tape. So but you look at those things. Did it work out as far as NFL football career? No, but those skills that you developed is what you end up becoming a CEO, the chairman of a major. And of course, we're acting like you didn't have a job before this.
Sure.
Now you were changing lives with your medical stuff and you traveled everywhere.
Yeah.
You've been everywhere. You've played golf. This dude. You think President Trump loves golf? Then there's you.
I love golf.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You love to talk about golf. Well, you like to talk
Oh,
about yourself.
here
golf.
we go.
No, I'm not
Did
throwing
we
shade.
not go to Top Golf in Omaha, Nebraska?
Yes, you did.
What was the point score on the screen? Look, I'm competitive.
I
just
didn't
like you
really
are.
play that day.
Oh, we were all chipping. Remember, it was.
I think I played one round.
Playing.
I wasn't feeling well. I remember.
Okay.
I was under the weather.
You were a little bit under the weather, but still.
Yeah, but you doesn't matter. You brought your own club. As soon as I saw you brought your own club to Top Golf, I was like, he ain't f***ing around. This
No. I love golf.
Had his little warmer. He talked to it. He's driving it, hitting it off the fence, and he's looking at his club, and then you started. You really crossed the line. You walked over to my stepson and started teaching him
Well, no,
golf
he
under
asked
your
me.
moral code.
He asked me.
Quiet. If I would have heard it, I would have been an outrage. It's like you just came in my house and sat at my seat at the dinner table.
No.
Started
I didn't want to be rude.
started putting my children under your moral code.
Aren't I kind of in your house a
no,
little
of course.
bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
You've
okay.
been there. Like,
Okay.
you've seen it. You know I'm not the king of my castle. I'm not even the court jester,
Either
man.
am I.
I greet you at the door, and I'll show myself out. But what was
golf.
it like being on the road? Because you had major meetings, and all your stuff was the only thing I never really talk to you about money and stuff. But was it commission based? Were you a big salary guy? Like how did you go from football to working? Because you work with a lot of doctors. You know everyone. Like everyone knows you. Like wherever we go,
Everyone knows you because
Yes.
we can't hide anywhere.
Okay, yeah,
Tyrus.
we cannot
Can you
hide
hide?
anymore. No,
When
I
you
don't
learn
try
how to
to.
hide, let me know.
I tried today. I wore my hat forward at lunch.
You did. I
I
noticed
did that, and I wear glasses now.
Okay, but
That
everyone
still
still
doesn't.
come. They still come up to you though.
That's like putting glitter on a bull. You're still a bull. Like
You're
everyone's
still
gonna
a
know
bull.
you.
We can't
So,
hide.
yeah.
So if anybody
Don't
has an
want to.
invisible cloak out there, we would be very grateful to buy one from you.
So you graduated from college, correct? Or no?
I actually graduated from college.
Okay.
They said they can't take that away from you, and I'm very.
No, I did
I'm
too.
Very, very, very grateful for that. You and I both, and that was fun to have you back in Kearney, where they actually gave you the
Yeah,
diploma.
because I couldn't afford it. Yeah, I couldn't walk.
Oh my goodness, it just broke my heart, man.
It was, but
To
it
hear
was
that you didn't get it because again, we didn't have any money.
no, didn't have a dime,
yeah.
and there was no boosters cutting checks at Nebraska.
No
Now, if you
NIL.
wanted a warm meal, and
Yeah.
you wanted a summer job working in
Throwing hay.
farms
Yep, all day.
all day, but as far as them walking up with a check with $2,000 in it, for your graduation. That ain't happening. And I didn't ask either. I guarantee you, if I would have went to Coach Morris and Hoffman or Coach Boroff or whomever and said I couldn't afford to graduate, UNK would have found a way.
They would have found a way.
But I was stubborn and I was like prideful, because that's a big problem with being big, is because you can't hide. And when you fail, everyone knows it and sees it. And that was mentally not being in the NFL long enough to have a card or anything. Whenever you would meet people, they would rub it in your face. Correct. Oh, if I had your height, I'd be a millionaire. If I had your size, and like, how come you didn't make it? How you didn't this? And you don't want to explain it. It just didn't work out, but no one else says shit to them. Like, well, what did you not accomplish? Like,
let's sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your failures.
Yeah. Why aren't you winning?
Right.
Because you got time to talk about me. So what's the formula? What would you do? What am I not doing that you would do? I finally asked somebody that. Like, well, any tips for me?
Oh my goodness.
Like anything I could do? Like, and their answer was as dumb as their question.
Correct.
It's like, well, you got to work out. Yeah, right. Yeah. I got all that shit down. Anything else? Yeah.
Yeah. Copernicus, you have anything else to enlighten us about?
Do you have anything to help me grow new knee meniscus? Because that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'm getting mad just talking about it.
I know, man. You're getting all jacked up. Look, Tyrus, I got really, really lucky because when I came back, I didn't make it in the NFL. I came back, and your identity is really kind of attached to football and your size. Yep. And so for me, I'm like, okay, what am I do next? And I went and worked for the university as a missions counselor, and I got really fortunate one day at practice. It was a Saturday. I'll remember like it's nothing, and you remember this field, our uneven field there.
Yes.
Huge shout out to the UNK Lopers, Coach Held and his team. A huge shout out to those guys. But I remember a guy came up to me and said, hey, man, what's going on? We started talking. It was Dr. Crockett, Dr. Heber Crockett.
Yep.
Actually trained here in New York, very, very well-known orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Andrews. He's practiced it. Anyways, and what's interesting is I got really lucky because he saw in me what I didn't see in myself in that time. He and his wife, Carrie, they were like, hey, look, Brett, you can communicate fairly well. You're clearly intelligent.
You're affable.
It's just like, and you're good with people. Like, hey, anyways, I got very lucky because they started to pull me in. They started to challenge me in different ways. Reading Russian literature of all things, believe it or not. The brothers Karamazov, Fyodor Dostoevsky, and I actually read the books. And I just got
an intellectual giant. Who would think?
Yeah, if people learn I can read and write, man, it's all over. But I got very, very fortunate. And then guess what? It's things like, that our fathers would have said to us if we had them around. It's like, look, man, you can't take anything for granted. You got to keep working. You got to keep learning. You got to keep growing. You got to keep going because no one is coming to save you. And number two, no one's going to improve yourself.
No, only you can.
Tyrus, no one's going to improve you. And anyways, I got very, very fortunate. So that led to, again, to answer your question. So it was a combination of I'd get a salary, I'd earn bonuses, I would travel, and then I would get involved in a company. There's a company called Avenue Medical that I was lucky to be a part of as a consultant, and we sold that for a lot of money to Medtronic.
Consulting.
CEO. I mean, I would do whatever. No. But I was doing
words
down. Dude, stop.
You do no. And did you ever consider saying the doc got lucky?
I don't know. I love him.
He went in there. He drafted you in the 5th round, and you ended up with all these championships of life. No Super Bowl ring, but a CEO ring, chairman ring, an amazing dad ring, a good family, change lives, help people.
But he's a statesman like you, though.
Yeah,
he saw something in others, and he's a very decorated physician. He's done 23,000 cases.
Yep.
He didn't have to pull me into his life.
Nope.
He didn't have to do anything like that, but he did, and I got very lucky that way. And the rest of it's just taken off from there. It's been a lot of hard work. And I'm not here to complain about that. I'm happy to do the work. I've also been lucky. But yeah, it's been a really interesting, or he would say this, and I'm sure he's listening. I can take you to the dance, big fella, but I cannot make you dance.
Yep, bring a horse to water, but he got
just like you and your opportunities. Yep. You have the chance to dance. And guess what, Tyrus? You got some moves, baby.
Yeah.
You got some moves.
It's funny when you look back at your successes because you're always haunted by your failures.
Always.
So you don't really pay that much attention to your successes while you're in it. You never know you're living your best life till it's done. And what I'm saying is like,
yeah.
And you're like, oh man, 5 years ago I was at the peak or this, that, whatever. Yeah. The argument to that is, well, I haven't hit my peak yet, so that's why I'm not, taking time for that. Now you are a family man if there ever was one, and being on the road, and again, we share this. It's a double-edged sword, but the side that cuts the most is you don't get to be with your family that much,
Correct.
and that changes you one or two ways. You either become a bitter soul who just stays away from home, but then we both have the life lesson of how difficult life can be without a father present. And I'm not just saying sitting on the couch drinking a beer,
Right.
like a real father who's providing and taking care and being there and
Being accountable with your children,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
that was for me. Things weren't the way I had my kids was about as untraditional as it get, with the exception of me and my wife. But you get you're not winning enough, so you have to work more. You want to every opportunity say yes.
You want to provide.
Yes, but you don't realize that you're saying no to time with your family.
Correct.
And then you don't understand why they don't see what you're doing, because
Correct.
they want to see you. And then eventually, and I'm kind of going through this now a little bit, to where your kids are older and have their play groups and they're going through their hormones and stuff. And you're still trying to be dad and make time. And when you show up, they're kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
And you're
who are you again?
Yeah. And not like you're this deadbeat dad who's not around. I mean, you talk
still
to him
around.
on the
Yeah, for
phone
sure.
and you email
Yeah.
and text, FaceTime,
Yeah,
all that kind of
FaceTime.
stuff. And when you're home, it's not like you're out with your buddies playing golf all weekend. You're with
Yeah.
your kids. So you get to a point where you question, was it worth it? Was the success worth it? Because there's certain things that you can't get back. And
You don't get
miss-
any of the time back.
Yeah, you can't get the time back. And then you miss birthdays. You miss
Yep.
basketball games. You miss recitals. You miss all these things but the school they go to is because you miss
Right.
those things. The cars you drive, the nice home, and not
Go on vacation or,
Yep.
or yeah.
If something goes wrong, you're not living check to check anymore.
Right.
You've passed your father in terms of attendance
Yeah.
and success. But the downside of it is that because you don't get to clock in a 9 to 5 every day and be home at dinner and home on the
Could
weekends.
you do a 9 to 5 job? Or maybe you could. I don't know.
I think we could. I think you have to. If that was
Yeah.
the only way. I mean, I've worked at
If it's the
Pizza.
only way.
I worked at Pizza Hut right after I was stuck between, I think, the Bills and Toronto Argonauts. I went back to Nebraska to take a couple summer classes because I was thinking about maybe working
right.
on my master's, and I had to get a job, and I was like, oh shit. And the only job it was hiring was Pizza Hut. They needed someone to make pizzas and lunch with my schedule and stuff. And because I was
Yep.
working nights at Walmart stacking cans.
Remember Walmart,
At least
yep.
no one saw me do that. You're sitting there making pizzas at a Pizza Hut, and people used to go see you play ball.
Yep.
Hey, you're gonna learn real quick. But then I was like, I'm just making these lunch, I'm getting a check. Even when I asked for the job, the guy was like, why aren't you in the NFL?
I know.
I was like, oh well, Pizza Hut has better insurance.
and
he
you
just
can eat,
looked at me.
and you have food to eat
Yeah,
too.
it's a good way to
Let's
be
just
on your way to
remember, like
400
you could
pounds.
also eat, right?
Yeah, nothing like working at a pizza place eating pizza all
I
day.
worked at
That's
Pizza
real-
Hut too, man. It's just crazy.
It's crazy. Yep. And
Delivering pizzas, baby.
the only thing I didn't do was deliver because I didn't
delivered.
want to knock on the door and have some.
Oh, dude, I was too dumb. I was knocking on the door. And I don't know.
I just
don't mean
stayed
to
in the
say it
back
that
and
way,
made
but yeah.
pizzas, and plus that's gas money. And I was trying to say, I mean, I was just dealing with trying to make tryouts and gas money. And you're in Nebraska; it's
Just
not
eking
exactly
by.
a hotbed for NFL workouts.
Pizza Hut, man.
And then I had the arena football team that Kurt Warner played for. They were
Yep.
calling me a lot. So,
The Barnstormers.
Yep.
Iowa. Yep. Barns. Yep.
but then the Tri-City Diesel came around, and I was like, well, I'll just do that. It's right here in Kearney.
That's what we did.
So I played for them for a season, made the All-Star team, and then I got a call to go work out in Dallas, so I went. But all these times you're chasing it, and you don't have a family at the time, so you don't really think about it.
And everyone knows you as a football player, so everyone's asking about it. Everyone's expecting,
Yep.
right?
And then you get to a point in your life where you now have the family. And now even though you're big, you don't give a shit. Like, oh, you should play in the NFL. You know what? I'm just talking. You know what? It doesn't sting now because you're doing something comparable. You're at the top of your field in something else. When you're not where you think you need to be, any slight at you and your success cuts deeper
Way deeper.
Because you are carrying that burden. Is like, why am I stuck in this cycle? Why can't I get this better job? Or why can't I get this my own show? Or
You're kind of typecasted.
Yeah,
And you feel like you're stuck there. Yeah.
Yeah. And that I've seen a lot of our guys, the guys we played with, the guys we played against, the guys who just in the fraternity of football, especially linemen and stuff. I feel like there's a
stereotyped for sure.
You just get kind of stuck.
You do get kind of stuck.
And you trying to get it back, and you can't. You know, NFL isn't like guys can go overseas in the NBA and baseball and figure it out for a couple of years and come back. NFL don't work like that, bro.
Nope.
It's a young man's sport.
They're trying to weed you out.
Yeah.
For the young buck coming behind you.
But once you're out, there's always an exception.
Always exception.
You know, Rivers just proved that shit. He's 44?
Congrats to him.
But that's also a quarterback. But, you know, the lineman gets hurt, they're not calling a 44-year-old tackle.
Not doing it.
No. So, but you do, like, success sometimes can be, success can cause more depression than failure can sometimes. Because failure, you can feel bad about it, but you really don't have time. Success, you start dwelling over everything you didn't do.
It's true.
It's like you start focusing on like, oh man, and I went through this thing where like, my son plays baseball, my daughter rides horses, my other daughter swims, my other daughter is in choir. I work in New York, and everyone's in 3 different states. So somebody's always going to miss out.
Always.
But because you're working so hard and you've taken care of everyone, you want to tell yourself it's enough. But then there's where you're like, it's not enough. And then you kind of go through a change. Like once I learned, I had to learn, like literally had to learn to say no. Because every time Fox would call, hey, we got a show for you. Can you stay an extra day? The first answer was always yes, because if I keep doing these shows, I'm going to show, someone eventually is going to give me my own shit. I'm going to be primetime, you know?
Yep, that's the next level.
Working. That's next level. Yeah. And so you're like, yes, and you expect your family to be excited for you. You're like, hey, they're asking me to host the 5.
Which, by the way, congrats on all of that.
Yeah, but they're like, but you were going to come home Friday. Awesome. Well, I'll be home Friday night. Well, what time do you get in? 11?
The kids are sleeping.
Kids are asleep. Wife's exhausted. She doesn't want to party for you when you get home.
Nope.
She's had a long day too. So you think, and then you don't understand why.
Right.
They're treating you like shit because I'm doing this for us. But they're not looking at it that way. They're looking at you're gone again. You know?
Well, TD Jake said, if I'm home all the time, I can't go work and take care of my family at the level I want to.
Right.
But if I'm gone all the time, I don't get to be around and see the things that I'm working so hard for my family, watching them grow up. It's like, you know, the way they say, hey, you got to find the balance. Like, I don't believe that anymore. I think it's about harmonizing.
Yeah.
You got to harmonize the best you can. And part of that is saying no, which is a really good point.
Yeah. Learning to say no. My advice, 2 things.
Well said.
Never accept no. When I'm, and of course it sounds like an oxymoron, but I'm talking about when someone says, "Hey man, like for me, you're too big to be on TV shows cracking jokes." Like they don't have big comedians. What the f- are you talking about? You know? And I'm like, huh?
What?
Funny's funny. Smart is smart.
Funny is funny.
And they're like, no, man, you don't like. Man, look at the way you dress. Like you don't look like us. You know, where's your suit?
That's the whole point.
Why do you talk?
Sure.
You don't really talk using the King's English. You know, and I'm just like, but I'm smart. You know, and you take those things.
You're very intelligent.
Yeah, you take those things, and then all of a sudden you go from hearing those words to, oh, well, we want you on this and we want you on this. And suddenly the weirdness that you had in the beginning is now everyone wishes they had it. But you have to be able to say no in terms of, I already made plans with my family and I'm not breaking that, you know? And not accepting no is when they try to close the door on you.
Right. When
they say this isn't for you.
Right.
Or WWE, when they, didn't think I was championship material, I was like, that's your fucking opinion. And then, they let me go. And then now it was like, well, I can accept what they said, or I can go work other companies and be a top guy there and say what you're talking about. And if you're true, and if you really have talent, if it doesn't matter what the situation is, your talent will show up.
Always goes to the top.
Yep. So I might not be able to wrestle on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown every week, but I can compete against you on TV and kick your ass.
Right.
And that's what happened. But because I wouldn't accept no in the sense of, even though that door was closed, I looked for an adjoining door, different door. Here's another opportunity.
A better door.
And you never know what happens. Like with you, it went from trying to figure out what your next NFL tryout was going to be to start working in the medical field. And then you put that same effort into that,
right,
and you rose to the top of that.
Yeah, but how isn't it different for you? I mean, think about
no. I'm saying very similar things. Yeah,
and the next thing you're on national television in front of everyone. And again, I've known you for what's about 30 plus years. I'm like, dude, I mean, it's amazing. Don't
a lot
you?
Of lives.
I mean, it's just crazy.
And it's still crazy because it still keeps changing all the time.
And we're proud of you and we love you. And I just sit there and say to myself, and guess what? You have the talent to be there. You have the gift of deducing and reducing everything down like it's this, and everyone in the room knows this is it. And you've just said it to them.
And I think that comes from being the O-lineman allowed to call the plays on the line. I swear to God. I hope
Coach Moore's not listening to this.
Oh, he let me. He let me. As long as we got a first down.
As long as you got the first down.
You make a call and you get hit in the backfield, you ain't saying shit. And you know it. You make a bad call, like, nope, it's on you, Corey.
Well, and look, maybe part of what you're saying earlier about the success, we're thinking about the failures, like, hey, we would dominate a football team and we would go and watch the film with Coach Morris and the rest of our teammates. You know how that went.
Yep.
And I remember if you messed it, like we would run 28 zone, right? You pull around the tight end, you pull up the place, you hit the place side linebacker. And I remember one time I missed that. And he just says, Brett, let's see what you do this time. I think he rewinded that 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
And you just felt like the smallest thing on the planet. Even though we blew them out, all I can remember is don't ever mess that up again.
Yep.
You remember that?
Well, yeah. He used to also find me doing shit like. So we were playing Bemidji State. And they had this nose guard that was supposed to be all world.
All world.
Everyone was like talking about this guy, right? And I remember
I love this story.
Corey is like, I'm just going to pick him. You just light his ass up. We're just going to beat his ass up. Just beat his ass up. Everywhere you go, just chip him for me, no matter where you're going. I'm like, I'm with you. And it was a close game.
Yeah.
Well, it started out that way. And he wasn't bad. He wasn't.
He's not all world.
No, I wasn't. I didn't feel like strength from him. Like, oh shit,
he may have a quick step.
Yeah, the first step.
He didn't have the power behind it.
His advantage was he was around the same height as the center. So the center, he was a lot of times getting a lower pad on the centers and standing him straight up.
Yep.
Which in itself is a great skill, but he wasn't then swimming over him, sacking the quarterback or chasing down the running back. He was just he was a rock in the middle of their defense, which allowed their linebackers to make a lot of plays. So he was a white guy. And the only reason why I'm telling you he's a white guy, because it plays into the end of the story. We had a wide receiver, a little slot back named Brian B. from Colorado, little brother.
Yep.
Dark as his microphone. And he catches a little short, quick pass. And the nose guard ran down the line and tackled him. And apparently, when he tackled him, he stood over them and he said, I thought you were fast.
Oh, no.
And Bees was like, huh? And
what?
He came back in the huddle and I saw him fuming and stuff, and I just leaned over to him and I was like, hey, man, what'd he say to you? You all right? And he was like, man, what? And I was like, what'd he say? And we ended up punting, right? Come back to the sideline. Coach Morris give her a blocking schemes, all that shit. And then I walked over to B and I said, hey, man, what the f*** he said? What did he say to you? He's so shook. And he's like, call me. He said he didn't know we're fast. He said he thought would be fast. And I was slow. He called me slow and the N-word? I was like, bet. Okay. And I went back
Them
to
are fighting words right there.
I went to Coach Morris and I said, hey, man, I'm going to get this dude. And Coach Morris looked at me and he said, give him one for me.
Yeah.
And went out there and all of a sudden I just looked at the quarterback and I was like 23 dive just all day. Just check out 23. And we just
gold
blew him off the
23,
ball.
baby.
Yeah, boom, boom, blow him 4 or 5 yards a pop. Boom, boom, boom. We get down to the goal line and he's sucking air for everything he has. And I'm talking to him like he's a dog. And I was like, I bet you didn't know were strong too. And I bet you didn't know this.
Goodness.
And he was just sitting there looking for any linebacker or any teammate to just step up with him.
I need some help.
No one was.
You're on an island.
Here we go. First and goal. Guess what the call is from the coach? 23 power, right on me.
One of my favorite
get up
plays.
right up the line. I say, hey, bro, ball's coming right here. What you gonna do about it? And he was like, shut up, play ball. And
okay,
come off the ball, And when I hit him because I knew from watching film that he likes to get his hands as low as he can and just kind of dive at your legs.
Yeah, I hate that submarine.
So I had, when I was in my stance, I changed my fist to underneath like this because I was going to bulldoze him. I knew it couldn't, because his nose was like this far off the ground. So I knew what I was going to do. I was going to come up underneath him. And when I did it, but I caught him he didn't go as low as I thought he did. He was trying to catch a block.
He's tired.
He didn't want to. So when I caught him and just drove him, his momentum just took him straight up. And as we went down, we hit the ground so hard that his legs came back over him, and I hooked each one of them and started doing, we'll call it push-ups, but I was doing push-ups over him like, man, you're really having a bad day with us. Now you didn't know. And the team is like, oh, the refs are like, hey, because by the time we score, the field is cleared. I still got this dude with his legs over his head. And I was like, hey, B, you want some of this? And
oh my goodness,
we got up, we get in the back. Coach Boroff is furious.
He wasn't having it.
He was like, we don't do that. We don't play like that. And I was like, and Coach Morris said, it was a clear, he said, boss, he called him the N-word. We're not tolerating that. Dude did not come back in the game. He stayed on the sideline selling some bullshit shoulder thing. And I remember he was sitting on the 20-yard line, and I kept going, you coming back? You coming back?
I'm ready.
Yep. And
you taught him a good, hard lesson.
Yes, I did. And after that, we go into film, and I'm not thinking, offensive line had scores across, everyone had, it was in the 86th percentile for their blocks. And
which is good for all of you.
Which is good.
Yep.
But Coach Morris is going to focus on the 14%. Because he's a great coach. He's like, we're getting to the thing, and film study's almost over. Oh, so I'm thinking I've dodged a bullet.
Once you think that,
and he had my back.
Yeah.
So and then he was like, all right, let's just look at this one play. And he's like, why are you raping this man on the field? He's like, you got him beat. And everyone's dying laughing. Because no one else saw it because they were blocking.
Right.
And then he was like, he's like, man, well, I guess that guy will probably join the civil rights movement after that. You probably turned him out. He's seeing him in your sleep. But the next time you do that, I'm going to sit you the rest of the game. Because
he means that.
Yeah, and what he was saying was, he was like, listen, I understand. And I let you do what you do, but you also need to understand that, like, get used to it.
That's right.
They're gonna call you names.
Correct. Especially when you're good.
And when and he's like, you got a chance to play on Sundays. Every one of these guys wants a piece of you.
100%.
And he says, and here's the deal, B's got to take care of himself.
Yeah.
You're a good teammate, and that's the only reason why. If he would have said it to you and you acted this way, I'd be chewing your ass, because that means you're not mentally tough.
All day long.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm cool. He says, but let's watch it again, because it's hilarious. And, but the lesson learned, you don't think at the time it's going to translate to anywhere else.
You don't.
And I'm getting trolled on, social media, and people call me all these names and stuff. And I just remember, I think I said, I know what you cheer for. Your boos give me confidence. You're like, you just kind of,
haters are gonna.
You're mentally tough. You've already been called the worst thing in the world by somebody. So what are these strangers going to do? But it's all these things that continue to bring you along. It's like, in a way, life. We didn't get the father that we deserved.
That's right.
But life kind of filled in spots for us. But we were able to see it and grab it. I think a lot of young men, they don't see it.
They can't separate themselves.
They can't separate. They're still mourning whatever their situation is. But when a man extends the hand, you got to take it, because a man's not going to keep extending it.
Correct. Because he's a man.
He's a man, yeah.
Do you feel like, so people say, like Brett, do you feel like football saved your life? I mean, Tyrus, do you feel like football saved your life? I'm like, well, there's no doubt, but I think it's also just, it's like what it taught us. You're famous of saying this, where you said, hey, man, I learned to play offensive line. I learned to stay longer, show up early, do all the extra stuff that we had to do as offensive linemen. You don't get the gratification right away.
No one's cheering for you.
And, buddy, it takes a long time to become a starter. I don't care what division you're playing.
Yeah.
Maybe even any sport. To be a starter, to get the trust from the coaches and your teammates, you're going to go do it. I would say that I'm very grateful for football that way, because, man, I am back in Geneva, Nebraska, digging ditches if I didn't have football, and the discipline it taught me.
Yeah. Well, and not just that. It's
doing hard things over a long period of time.
Football is the one sport you fail the most at. Miss a block, stalemate, guy drops a pass, doesn't have anything to do with you. You don't even know. Sometimes you're knocked silly, get beat on a play, hold. Like there's a.
Oh, you've never held anybody.
I got called for holding one time. It was against Drake University, and it was bullshit. And I held all the other times, but I never got caught. But this one, it was a pancake, and that really upset me.
Oh my goodness! It was a good one then.
It was a good one.
It was actually a legit block.
The flag hit me on the helmet. Like the ref threw the flag right on my helmet, and I was just like,
"You never forget those."
And holding number 78, and I was like,
"That was textbook."
I was a pancake. And
what a great number, 78, baby.
And Morris, he yelled out, "Just keep doing it. Keep kicking his ass." I'm like, "All right."
But, I love Coach Morris. I tell you what, he and Darla.
Yeah, I got to get him on here.
You have to get him on.
Oh, yeah. It's just hard getting him out of Nebraska.
No. He's in Florida now. We'll get him up here.
He moved to Florida?
He's going back and forth. He vacillates between the two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a mover and a shaker, man.
Wow. I do that too, but not because, no offense to New York, but this isn't exactly where I would like to hang out and spend my days. It's cold. Now it's cold. We got the super cold going on. But if you were to give advice to a young man coming up right now, what do you think the biggest thing we'd say? If you saw that little spark of anger in his eye, but on the other side, there's enough fear behind it also. Yeah. What would be your words to him?
Well, as Coach Morris did for both of us, when you start off, he gave us a copy of that. Is it the pelican? And you got the frog, and it's in the mouth.
And he's holding on to the neck. Yeah.
I still have that original copy today. And I will say, as cheesy as this sounds, like you just can't ever give up. Right, and for us, maybe it's a little different from our backgrounds, but like it's so inbred in me. It's like you can't give up, never quit. It doesn't mean you don't come to things and then hey, that's not for me.
Yeah, no, because
working at Pizza Hut was not for you.
No,
I'm sorry,
no. But every day I showed up to Pizza Hut, I was trying to make the best pizza in there.
That's right, and you just never give up.
No, and
I know it sounds cheesy.
No, it's not cheesy.
That's my advice. Keep going.
You keep going forward, and do not ignore the failure. Examine it. Break it down. If you start the conversation, I didn't get the job because the manager didn't like me,
it's nonsense.
Okay, you can't change the manager. Okay, and if
or their perceptions of
you. What could you have done to be when you can ask yourself that question?
You're in a good place,
and you can answer it honestly, not making yourself a victim, not virtue signaling, not playing the crutch. Oh, it's because I was black. Oh, it's because I played ball. Oh, because I was this, I was that. It can be a combination of those things, but you have to focus on what you can control. If a guy didn't give me a job at Pizza Hut because I was big and black, then I'll take my ass to Caesar's Pizza. And then I'd go, if that was my genre, you know what I'm saying? Or if it was McDonald's or Burger King, I would just keep going to a fast food place and I'm going to get hired.
Right.
But if I say, I don't need these jobs, I'm not getting these jobs because the white man didn't want to hire me. No, one asshole didn't hire you.
Who doesn't know you?
Prove him wrong.
That's right.
Use him as fuel. You didn't want me? I'm going to go right next door. Oh, there's a KFC right there.
You got to keep going, baby.
You got to keep going. And speaking of keep going, it's been amazing having you on today. And so, hey, for people that want to get to know you, ask questions, or want to know more about the charity, how do they get a hold of you? Yeah,
so we have the Nebraska Greats Foundation .org website you can go to. So if you know somebody that's in need, former teammate, has too much pride to say, hey, I've got a problem, and you're in Nebraska, we would love to talk to you. Reach out to us there. I'm all over social media, right or wrong. I'm all over, so pretty easy to look up that way. And man, I just want to say thank you again, man. Your humility, you've always been the statesman. I don't believe, other than your skill sets being shown to the world, you've changed that much. You're still a humble
I'm
guy.
The same dude. That's
no. And I want to commend you for that, right? For doing that. I really appreciate you including me today.
Oh no, it was cool, man. Plus, you paid for lunch, so the least I could do.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
Well, yeah, no, you snuck it because that's a thing with you and me. Because I usually
because so many people have paid for my meal, so it's just like, and it doesn't even matter anymore. You know what? Here's an interesting thing. Do you even think about what you're spending anymore when you go have supper or you go to a grocery store? Do you even think about what it costs anymore?
No, because my wife and I have separate bank accounts. So I don't worry about, because I don't buy much.
But when you're poor,
we wouldn't have been.
I got $10 to put gas in. Hey, that's gonna give me a quarter tank. That's gonna get me here. And where now in my life? And again, I'm not wasting money, but it's like I don't think about those things that I once used to just.
No.
When are we gonna eat?
No, because you have different problems now.
different problems.
Yeah, you're not worried about the basics, but it's maintaining.
Correct.
And you have to keep an eye on your shit.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody watch your money, somebody watch your property, protect your family. Like you start worrying about all other kinds of stuff. So and it's a good thing that your level of concerns change.
It's true.
You know, and
thanks for looking out for us, and thank you for inviting me. And I really appreciate that. It's very humbling.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
always a pleasure.